From the moment they were born, Emma and Olivia's lives were written on opposite sides of the same page. Emma, the eldest, was the miracle child. Their parents often said, God almost took her, but he changed his mind. The story had been repeated so often that Emma herself believed she carried a golden glow around her. And maybe she did, because everything in that household revolved around her. When Emma sneezed, the whole house turned into a pharmacy. When she cried, her father's voice softened into honey. When she smiled, her mother would clasp her hands together and whisper, "Our miracle." But when Olivia came along 2 years later, her arrival wasn't accompanied by glowing tales or trembling gratitude. She was just there, healthy, quiet, and quickly forgotten in the halo of her sister's existence. As children, Olivia learned early that love in that house wasn't evenly distributed. When Emma broke something, her mother sighed, "It's okay, sweetheart." When Olivia did the same, the response was, "Why can't you be more careful?" Birthdays were the most painful. Emma always had a cake, pink frosting, ribbons, guests from the neighborhood. Olivia's birthdays were often forgotten, or brushed off with, "We'll do something next weekend." Next weekend never came. And school. Emma got new books, fancy shoes, and tutors. Olivia got the leftovers. The explanation was always the same. There's not enough money. Yet somehow there was always enough for Emma. At 12, Olivia had already mastered the art of pretending she didn't care. She clapped the loudest at her sister's dance recitals, even when no one showed up for her school debates. She told herself, maybe love works differently for me. But deep down, a quiet ache began to grow, the kind that doesn't scream but settles like a weight on your chest. By 17, Olivia was working part-time at a small bakery after school. She didn't tell her parents at first. She knew they'd only say it was unnecessary or irresponsible. But she needed to feel like she mattered, even if it was just earning her own bus fare. Her boss, a kind woman named Mrs. George, noticed her diligence. "You've got something rare, Liv," she once said. "Fire and patience. Most people only have one." Olivia smiled shyly. Compliments always made her uneasy. At home, the imbalance only grew worse. Emma got into a private university, fully paid for by their parents. When Olivia expressed interest in studying law, her father said, "Law? That's expensive. Maybe you should consider something practical, like teaching." But Olivia's heart was set. She'd seen injustice all her life, and she wanted to understand the language of fairness. She applied for scholarships, took entrance exams, and prayed hard. When she got accepted into a local university, she was ecstatic. Her joy lasted exactly one day. Her parents said they couldn't afford it. That night, she sat on her bed staring at the ceiling, her eyes burning. Emma came into the room, scrolling on her phone, and said casually, "I'm sure Mom and Dad will find a way for you later. I mean, you're smart. You'll manage somehow." Olivia forced a smile. Somehow. She decided to manage, just like always. She found another job at a call center and started saving every penny. It was there that she met Aunt Helen again, her mother's younger sister, who came in one day for a consultation. Helen was the complete opposite of Olivia's mother. Where her mother was strict and sharp-tongued, Helen was warm, open, and always had laughter in her eyes. When Helen asked how Olivia was doing, the girl hesitated, then broke. Words tumbled out. The years of favoritism, the struggles, the endless comparisons. Helen listened silently, her expression softening with every word. Then she said something Olivia would never forget. "You don't owe anyone your silence, sweetheart. If love hurts you every day, it's not love, it's control." A week later, Aunt Helen showed up at Olivia's house. She greeted her sister, smiled politely, then said, "I'm taking Olivia with me. She needs space. She deserves a chance." Her mother's face twisted. "Excuse me? You're not taking my child anywhere." But Olivia, for the first time in her life, stood her ground. "Mom, I'm leaving. I can't stay here anymore." Her father looked up from his newspaper, uninterested. "You'll come crawling back when life humbles you." Olivia didn't argue. She just went to her room, packed her few belongings, and sat at her desk for one last time. She took out a piece of paper and began to write. "Dear Mom and Dad, I know this will surprise you, but please don't think I'm leaving out of anger. I'm leaving because I'm tired. I've spent my whole life trying to earn a love that should have been free. I've watched you celebrate Emma while treating my achievements like accidents. I've pretended not to notice. I've smiled through the pain, but I'm breaking inside. You always said there wasn't enough money, but there was always enough for Emma. I guess there just wasn't enough for me. I'm grateful for life, but I want peace now. Aunt Helen offered me a place, and I'm taking it. Please don't worry about me. I'll be okay. One day, I hope we can talk again without anger between us. Until then, I wish you love, even if it was never mine. Olivia. She folded the letter and placed it on the dining table, weighted down by the family photo. Then she walked out without looking back. When her parents returned home and saw the note, the silence was thick. Her mother read it once, twice, then tore it in half. Ungrateful child, she hissed. After everything we've done for her. Her father was worse. He grabbed his phone, typed a short message, and hit send. Don't come back. You've made your choice. Stay gone. That message stayed in Olivia's phone for years. Not because she wanted to keep it, but because she couldn't bring herself to delete it. Aunt Helen's house was small but full of laughter. She lived alone, with framed photos and the smell of cinnamon tea filling the air. Olivia got her own room, something she'd never really had before. You can study here, Helen said one evening. Work part-time if you need to. But promise me one thing, don't let bitterness eat you. You're destined for more than pain. Olivia nodded, her eyes glassy. I'll try. She worked, studied, and grew. Slowly, her wounds became wisdom. When she finally graduated, first class in law, Aunt Helen nearly burst into tears. She threw a small party, just the two of them, with cake and laughter. You did it, my girl, she said, cupping Olivia's face. They'll hear your name one day, and they'll wish they had listened. Olivia smiled, though a small ache still lived somewhere deep inside. I don't want revenge, Auntie. I just want peace. You'll have it, Helen said. Peace always finds those who keep walking. And peace did find her, though not easily. Her early career was tough. She was the youngest attorney in a small firm, constantly underestimated, often mistaken for an intern. But she was sharp, terrifyingly sharp, and she learned quickly. Her first big case was a family inheritance dispute. She fought for a widow who had been cheated out of her late husband's estate by his brothers. When she won, the woman hugged her tightly and whispered, "You fight like someone who knows what it feels like to be unseen." That night, Olivia cried in her car. Not out of sadness, but because for the first time, someone had understood her without explanation. Within a few years, she built her reputation, the attorney who never loses. Her office, located downtown, became a place of quiet authority. Clients came from far and wide. Even judges respected her composure. But no success could fully erase the little girl who once wrote a letter on the dining table. Sometimes, late at night, she'd scroll through her phone, past that old text message from her father, and wonder if her parents ever thought about her. She didn't know that miles away, her mother had kept half of that torn letter, the part that said, "I wish you love, even if it was never mine." One quiet Friday evening, as Olivia packed her files after another long day, she heard a soft knock on her office door. She looked up and froze. Standing there was Emma. Her once glossy hair hung limp around her face. Her eyes were puffy, her clothes worn. And beside her stood two little girls. One about 3, the other 2, both clinging to her legs. "Olivia," Emma's voice trembled. "I didn't know where else to go." Olivia's pulse quickened. Memories flooded back. All the years of favoritism, the loneliness, the letter, the silence. She took a slow breath. "What do you want, Emma?" "Please," Emma said, tears spilling. "Just 5 minutes. I promise." Olivia hesitated. 5 minutes couldn't undo years of pain, but something in her sister's eyes made her nod. "Sit down," she said quietly. 5 minutes. And that was the moment everything began to change. Emma sat across from Olivia, her trembling hands clutching her handbag, eyes darting nervously between her sister and the two girls now exploring the edges of the office carpet. For a long moment, neither woman spoke. The air felt thick with everything unsaid. Finally, Olivia broke the silence. "You said you wanted 5 minutes. Talk." Emma swallowed hard. "I know you have no reason to listen to me. I know what our parents did. I know I was," her voice cracked. "I was selfish, blind. But life humbled me, Liv." Olivia leaned back in her chair, her gaze steady. "How?" Emma's voice shook as she told her story. About the man she'd fallen for at 22, tall, charming, full of promises. He told her she was his world, and for a while she believed it. When she got pregnant, he said, "We'll be a family." But when the baby turned 6 months, he vanished. No calls, no messages, no goodbye. Just gone. Then, a year later, she met another man. He was older, richer, smoother. She thought she was smarter this time. She wasn't. When I had Hazel, he said he'd marry me once things settled down. She laughed bitterly. Things never did. One day, I came home, and he was gone too. He left a note, just a note. Said he wasn't ready for the family life. By the time she finished, tears were streaming down her face. I've been trying, Liv. I swear. I clean houses now. I do anything I can. But I can't afford rent anymore. I don't want my girls to suffer. I just want them safe. Olivia looked down at the two little girls, one drawing invisible lines with her finger on the desk, the other looking up with wide brown eyes that seemed too innocent for the world's cruelty. She felt something deep inside her shift. Emma, she said softly, I'm angry. Not just for what you did, but for what Mom and Dad did too. You got everything handed to you, and you still lost it all. I got nothing, and I had to build my life piece by piece. But those little girls, they don't deserve to pay for your mistakes. Emma nodded through her tears. I know. So here's what I'm going to do, Olivia continued. I'll take them in. Officially. I'll adopt them, give them my name, my home, my stability. You can visit, weekends only. But until they're old enough to choose for themselves, they'll stay with me. Emma's head shot up, startled. Adopt? You'd really? Yes, Olivia said firmly. Because someone has to stop the cycle of pain in this family. It stops with me. For a long while, Emma just stared at her sister. The sister she had ignored, belittled, outshone for years. The sister who, despite everything, was offering her a lifeline she didn't deserve. Then she whispered, voice breaking, I don't deserve you. Olivia's eyes softened. Maybe not, but your girls do. The adoption process took months. Olivia handled it like every other case, precise, organized, unstoppable. Her reputation in town helped too. People respected her. They trusted her. Aunt Helen stood beside her every step of the way, proudly declaring, those babies are about to grow up with a mother who understands what love really is. By the time the paperwork was finalized, Mia and Hazel had already started calling Olivia Mama Liv. Their laughter filled her once silent apartment. Little drawings covered her refrigerator, and for the first time in years, her heart felt full. Emma visited on weekends, just as promised. She came early, bringing toys and snacks she could barely afford. At first, Olivia watched her with quiet suspicion, waiting for the old arrogance to return. But slowly, something changed. Emma began helping with chores. She found a steady job at a daycare center. She enrolled in night classes, studying early childhood education. Her posture changed, her tone softened. She listened more, talked less. One evening, while the girls were asleep, Emma looked at Olivia across the living room and said quietly, I used to envy you, you know? Olivia blinked. Me? Yes. You always had this strength. Even when Mom and Dad made you feel small, you still stood tall. I thought they loved me more, but now I see. They didn't love you less, they just loved me wrong. Olivia didn't reply. She simply reached across the table and held her sister's hand. For the first time in years, there was no rivalry, only understanding. Months later, a call came that Olivia never expected. Her phone buzzed late one evening. The screen showed a familiar number she hadn't seen in years. Mom. She hesitated, heart pounding. Then slowly she answered. Hello. The line was silent for a few seconds. Then a voice, shaky, older, full of regret, spoke. Olivia, it's Mom. Olivia closed her eyes. I know. I don't know where to start, her mother said, her voice breaking. We read your letter again last week. The one you left years ago. I kept part of it. The part that said you wished us love. I never told your father, but I kept it in my Bible all these years. Olivia's chest tightened. We were wrong, her mother continued. God knows we were. We thought we were protecting Emma, but we were destroying you. I'm so sorry, baby. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I need you to know, I've prayed for you every night. Then her father's voice came on the line, quieter, older. Olivia, you made us proud. We just didn't know how to say it. Can we see you? Olivia was silent for a long while. Part of her wanted to hang up, to protect the peace she'd fought so hard for. But another part, the little girl who wrote that letter, whispered softly, they're finally seeing you. She took a breath. I appreciate your apology, but forgiveness isn't a switch. It's a process. You can't expect me to open the door right away just because you finally knocked. Her mother sniffled. We understand. Maybe one day, Olivia said gently. But not today. It took another 6 months before one day arrived. It was Mia's 5th birthday, a small backyard party with balloons, laughter, and homemade cupcakes. Aunt Helen was there, Emma too, smiling proudly as the girls blew out their candles. Then a car pulled up outside. Olivia turned and froze. Her parents stepped out slowly, holding a small wrapped gift. Her mother's eyes glistened with tears. Her father looked both hopeful and terrified. The entire backyard went silent. Emma whispered, "They called me. I didn't think you'd mind." Olivia said nothing. She walked slowly toward them, her expression unreadable. Her mother started to speak, but her voice cracked. "You've built such a beautiful life, Liv. We wanted to see it for ourselves. We're so proud of you." Olivia's throat tightened. She looked at them, really looked. They seemed smaller somehow, softer, stripped of the pride that once made them blind. She nodded slowly. "Thank you. You can stay. But understand something. This piece I built? It's sacred. If you're here to rewrite history, please leave. But if you're here to start fresh, with honesty, you're welcome." Her father's eyes filled. "We just want a chance to know you again. And our granddaughters." Olivia exhaled, then stepped aside. "Then come in." That day wasn't a fairy tale. There were awkward pauses, long silences, and hesitant smiles. Her parents met Mia and Hazel, who ran to Emma first before warming up to them. At one point, Olivia found her mother sitting quietly by the window, tears rolling down her cheeks as she watched the children play. "They look so happy," she whispered. "You're such a good mother, Liv." Olivia's eyes softened. "I had a good teacher," she said, glancing at Aunt Helen, who raised her cup in a silent toast. Her mother nodded. "I wish I'd been that teacher too." Olivia didn't reply. She didn't need to. Some things don't need words, just time. Over the next year, their relationship slowly rebuilt itself. Olivia allowed small visits, phone calls, Sunday dinners. There were still boundaries, firm, non-negotiable ones, but also compassion. One evening, as they all sat together at Aunt Helen's house, her father suddenly stood up, holding a small box. "I've wanted to give you this for a long time," he said quietly. Inside was a bracelet, old, silver, simple. "It belonged to my mother," he said. "I kept it for Emma, but I think it was always meant for you." Olivia blinked back tears. "Thank you," she whispered. Her mother reached across the table, voice trembling. "You taught us something, Liv. You taught us that love isn't about miracles. It's about consistency." Olivia smiled faintly. "Then maybe we're all learning." Years later, when Mia and Hazel were old enough to ask questions, Olivia told them the truth. Not the painful version, but the honest one. "Your mom made mistakes," she said gently, "but she's not a bad person. She's learning too. We all are." And as the girls grew, they knew love in all its forms, patient, forgiving, imperfect, but real.